Hello, everybody out there. I wanted to provide a health update, which has not been going swimmingly, but there's a plan of attack, and I kind of want to discuss a lot of that today. This is going to be a little bit of a longer video, so here we go. I kind of been hit on two fronts. One is I'm dealing with a personal issue that I'm not going to go into great detail on, but it's been difficult. One of the things that I constantly hear about comments from my Manjaro video, which I am very appreciative of, is that people seem to appreciate my honesty. And that's what I'm going to give you in this video today. I promise to be honest and open and forthright. There are elements of this video that are not going to be easy to say. The health and diet sphere are full of people that tell you what you want to hear or tout products. And neither of which I'm going to do today. I am going to be talking about a product, but I'm not going to be touting it. I am not sponsored. You know what? Let's just get this on the table. I don't care how popular this channel ever becomes. I mean, I genuinely mean that. If I just talk to a select group of people, maybe a dozen or so, and they get something out of it, that's awesome. I'm truly, genuinely happy about that. If I get millions of followers down the line, well, that'd be neat too. But I'm not counting on it. I'm not betting on it. And I'm not going to be gearing up for that. And in that, I will never, ever, ever take a sponsorship. If I make any revenue off this channel, it's going to be off of ad revenue and Patreon. That's it. Memberships possibly as well. But no outside third-party influence. I don't care what supplements and what barrel of cash they toss at my front door. It's not happening. I have several reasons for that, not the least of which is one of the things that I want this channel to do that sets it apart from anything else is integrity. It's a pretty big word, but it means a lot to me. And as somebody that's been heavy all my life, I have been suckered into many a scheme, and I don't want to be the purveyor of that. I don't want to be selling you fucking Herbalife. That's not who I am. That's who I have been falling prey to all my life. And I know many of you have as well. That's not going to be this. So if I ever talk about a product, I am going to be that product's worst nightmare. Somebody that tells the truth, the good, the bad, and the weird. So if they have a quality product and I try it out and it works well as advertised and everything is hunky-dory, then they have nothing to worry about. Getting back to it, I've been having some issues. And suffice it to say, I have not been dealing with those issues in the healthiest way. I've been internalizing a lot, and I've been self-destructive in that internalization. And the easiest path for me for self-destruction is eating, overeating, binging, what have you. And since I got back from vacation, I've gained about 10 pounds, maybe a little more. Not proud of that. But again, honesty. So I had my last therapy session, and I decided it was time to stop internalizing that and to actually get what I was feeling and what I was going through that I was kind of just trying to pretend didn't exist out into the open. And we had a good session. It was a difficult one, but it was a good session. And then I brought the people that I love in on it and made sure that what was just this silent suffering was no longer at least silent. And in that, I think that I've kind of turned a corner and recognize that even if there's nothing I can do to rectify the situation that I'm going through, that at the very least I can rectify how I've been approaching it. That I don't need to be beating myself up. I don't need to be punishing myself, and I certainly don't need to be punishing myself through self-destructive means. It's time to get back on track. But that leads us to the second thing, which is many of you have found me through the Manjaro video, which is fantastic. It's also been 3 weeks since my last shot. That's not a voluntary thing, that's supply. This is the longest period of time I've ever had to go without, and it sucks. I don't know if this is chemical withdrawal. I don't know if this is a situation where the difficulties that I've been experiencing have been harping on it. I don't know if it's a combination of all of it. I don't know if it's physical. I don't know if it's chemical. I don't know if it's mental. Or I don't know if it's all three. Probably all three. But regardless, the hunger is back, and it's back with a fury. And the discipline hasn't really been there. So it's time to get back on track, but it feels like I'm doing that in a very raw state. But it's got to get done. I can't abide by best practices once the new medication shows up at the door, especially considering I have no idea when that'll be. It's still a pending thing. And my source for my medication is a hospital, a big hospital in the state. It's not like it's a mom and pop pharmacy, trying to get on the horn with, the pharmaceutical company every day. It's a hospital, and they're having trouble getting it to get it shipped to me. So that's a frustrating fucking thing. And one, on the hunger level, and two, on the A1C management, shit's got to get sorted. And it's honestly all on my shoulders at this point. I'm going to be getting back to the gym. I'm going to be getting back to eating right. And I'm also going to be doing a little bit of a Hail Mary pass. Here's where we get into the product thing. I want to preface this as saying I am, how to put this? I'm optimistic in the results. I'm not optimistic in the methodology. Oh, geez. This is a tough one because there was a certain level of scrutiny that I approach these things with. And when my coworkers and friends said that their family and their wives and so forth have been subscribing to this Skinnybox, that they have been super happy with the results. They recommended it at least be something I try. So I looked into it, and everything about this just shrieks Amway and shit like that. But it's basically a home delivery meal system that is focused on a dietary plan of small incremental meals to get you throughout the day until you can have your one not skinny box meal, but a sensible meal within kind of the confines of a nutritional guideline for dinner. I went ahead and subscribed to it. Now, one, as far as the good, is everything seems to be all right. And I want to just say that as this is not a pill. This is not a supplement that is in lieu of meals that is basically fiber and bullshit. There's nothing dangerous about any of this. I checked it out. The caloric and the nutrition values are there. So anybody that wants to contact me in the comments about this video and start touting what I should do differently, please don't. I mean, I appreciate your concern, but if your concern is coming from a medical place, just know that I looked into this thoroughly. I've been talking with my doctor, and I am under the supervision of medical care. So if your concerns are coming from a place of medical well-being for me, it's taken care of. I appreciate it. Please don't. If your concerns are coming from a place of you want to just simply tout what worked for you, that's appreciated also. I do appreciate it. I'm kind of going with this, and I'm trying it out because this seems to be something that is gaining more momentum in the world of the internet sphere, and I was not able to find a whole lot of people talking about Skinnybox with a level of honesty. So if I can provide that, then I'm going to. I think that that would be a service that other people down the line could possibly use. So what is Skinnybox? It's basically a bunch of products like this, and this, and this. And the bad is it's stupidly fucking expensive. It really is. I got 1 month of Skinnybox supplies for one person for $315, and that was with an introductory coupon code. Holy shit. But that actually has a good point to it as well. Here's the good point to it is it's something that I feel like I'm really going to adhere to because the cost really does kind of dictate that. I have all of the month's supply right over here. Not in my kitchen because I don't want things being confused. I don't want my, anybody else in the house to just, like, ooh, cinnamon bars. Fuck yeah. So I have them here, separated out from anybody else's food and meals and so forth, just so that there's this level of control over it. And I know that I've been going through binge eating. I know I've been going through bad shit, but I don't feel like this is a big temptation for me because I'm looking at that little bag of Skinnybox brand Cheetos and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be opening 5 bags of that in one sitting because holy shit, that was expensive. So there's a plus side to it. So what does this really shake out to? Basically what it winds up being is they have like a 1, 2, 3 level, and I'm going with the 1 level. I'm going to go on the starter level, which I think most people would start out with. And essentially what that winds up being is you have your 1 meal a day, which is essentially 6 to 8 ounces of protein, 2 servings of fats. They recommend healthy fats, avocado oil, things like that, and a good amount of vegetables, leafy greens, or cooked broccoli, things like that. So overall, pretty sensible. And the things to get you through that in all these boxes is designed to get you through the day on a minimal, or at the very least, a sensible caloric level with enough nutrition that that one meal a day will sustain you and you can lose weight with a caloric deficit, which is essentially how I've been living anyway, or wanting to live anyway. It's just in a caloric deficit with a good nutritional balance and losing weight slow and steady. So, as far as I'm concerned, this is simply a tool to meet the path that I've already laid out for myself. Question: could I achieve the same results by going to the grocery store and getting a pack of Chester's puff corn, cheddar, and doling it out in 100-calorie Ziploc bags and storing them here? And same thing with any other shake or ready meal pack, anything like that, and just dole it out? Absolutely. I certainly could, and that may be where I go down the line from here, but this was kind of a zero thought, select the check marks, and wait for a box to show up on my doorstep. So it's more the convenience factor right now, and that may be where I transition to, because again, holy fuck, this is expensive. So here's what I did, is I basically went through an entire day yesterday of logging every single thing that I ate so that I got a good idea of the caloric intake, the nutrition, the carbohydrates, the protein, the sodium, and so forth, so that I could give an accurate representation of what a day would actually look like with this. So let's get to it. What did yesterday look like? Well, it has 5 skinny packs, fiber infusers, and that's pretty much it. So basically what it winds up is you just have kind of a schedule throughout the day, and I set alarms on my phone to remind me of just generally going through things. So I started out with a chocolate mint meal replacement shake in my coffee in the morning. This is 100 calories with 7 grams of carbohydrates. This is designed to not put you in ketosis. This is not a keto Atkins kind of thing. This is simply just kind of pulling back on the carbs. And I wound up with 90 grams of carbs, which is not a lot, but it's not anywhere near low enough to put you in ketosis. And for me, going into a ketosis state is not ideal. I know that a lot of people it works for. It doesn't work for me. It makes my heart flutter. It makes me feel like shit. The last time I tried that, I almost wound up having my wife take me to the hospital, and I made her promise, don't let me ever try this again. I think it was like my 4th or 5th time, and I never was able to get over the keto flu. It just was, again, this is where a lot of people would chime in the comments with, well, maybe you should try the bone broth, and maybe you should stop, please don't. I don't want to hear it. Thank you very much. I wound up with roughly 150 grams of protein, which is high, but it's not alarmingly high. It's not a dangerous place. I've heard people go up to 200 for a long period of time, and for somebody with my height and weight, it's fine. It's on the high end of things, but it's nowhere near nutritionally dangerous. 59 grams of fat and 2,397 milligrams of sodium, which is 104% of the daily recommended intake for me. And honestly, that's way lower than I'm used to having, even when I'm dieting. It is tough to get under that 2,000 grams of sodium. I had this in my coffee, and it was 100 calories to a packet. And not bad. A little sludgy. There does come a certain point where there's no amount of mixing you can do to prevent the sludge. So anybody with texture issues, that might be a little bit of a factor. I just kind of skimmed the sludge and ate it and then enjoyed a nice chocolate mint coffee. It was like a mocha. After the first Skinnybox, you wait a couple hours, and then you have your first fiber infusion, which is essentially just a fruit drink. There's also a tea. There's a few different options, and for each and every one of these, there's different options. You can pick flavors and so on the website, but I chose the fruit drink because it just seemed like the most accessible to me. So, it's 15 calories. It's mostly just fiber. 6 grams of carbs with 5 grams of dietary fiber, so 1 net gram of carbs. Yeah, it's just designed to make you feel full. That's essentially it. It does not contain added sugar, hydrogenated oil, or gluten sources. That's one thing I can say is reading through the boxes here, and what it does and does not contain is actually not too shabby. Yeah, take that for what you will. I'm not going to say that this is a suitable alternative to a like actual juiced fruit, but it has some good fiber. And I mean, it probably, let's see, ingredients: dietary fiber blend, resistant maltodextrin, inulin, and partially hydrolyzed guar gum. So, I mean, nothing too shocking there. I would kind of think that it would be a little bit more of the psyllium husk, but what are you going to do? Let's see, about an hour after that, you have your second skinny pack. And for me, I had the peanut pretzel bar. Actually, pretty delicious. When it comes to the bars and so forth, I've like, even on like Slim Fast and things like that, I've never really had too much of an issue with the taste. It's always been, it's a bar. They tend to taste pretty well. 130 calories. After that, it was about lunchtime, and I made myself a packet of cheesesteak pasta. This is an individual serving. It's akin to your hamburger helper type thing. You just mix it up with some water and microwave it or put it on the stovetop. I can't see anybody actually putting it on the stovetop. Mixing up a whole pan for that. But I did it in the microwave, and basically what it winds up being is a pasta sludge that was actually kind of tasty. But it's a pasta sludge. If anybody's actually, hamburger helper is kind of sludge in its own right, but it's delicious. This is not as delicious as hamburger helper, but it is a somewhat tasty sludge. Let's see. After that, we have the fourth skinny pack, which I had the Skinnybox Cappuccino. 90 calories and 15 grams of protein, 5 carbohydrates with no dietary fiber. So this is basically just kind of a protein, a little bit of an infusion here, a little bit of calories to get you going. And tasted like shit. This was the first thing I've had from Skinnybox that actually just tasted like shit. And you know what? I got a few of them. So this is going to be a suck it up and knock it down kind of cappuccino thing, which is kind of surprising because I really do enjoy cappuccinos. Like even the instant powder Nescafe kind of stuff, I'm all about. But this one, it's just weird. Kind of has the sludgy thing is back, but this time not in a way that's really skim it and make it pleasant kind of way. If you're interested in Skinnybox and you come across the cappuccino thing, maybe give it a whirl, but probably not. Then I had my one meal, which was essentially just salad. I prepared a bunch of Ziplocs of 8 ounces of boneless, skinless chicken breast and tossed them all in the sous vide and then tossed them all in the fridge once they were done cooking. So now I just essentially have prepared chicken breast that is ready to go in whatever application I want throughout the week. So whether I want to toss a little bit of seasoning in there and serve it up with some broccoli, or in the case of what I did yesterday, which was cut it up and serve it alongside a big leafy green salad with some Bolthouse Farms blue cheese dressing. If you've never heard of Bolthouse Farms, I do recommend checking them out. They're usually in the refrigerated aisle along with salad stuff, but it's essentially a pretty tasty salad dressing that is very low in calories. 2 tablespoons of Bolthouse chunky blue cheese is 50 calories. And if you've ever checked the caloric intake of your standard blue cheese chunky dressing, it's usually way more than 50 calories. So yeah, check out Bolthouse Farms. It's tasty, it's yummy, and it's low in calories. So that's how I kind of went with that. I also took some cherry tomatoes out of my garden, tossed it all in there. And overall, not too bad. I'm still not a huge fan of super greens, but I kind of figured that the nutritional added element of baby spinach and so on and so forth, not just having iceberg and romaine lettuce tossed together, probably be a good idea. So I did that and kind of suffered through it. I also cut up some cucumbers from my garden, but man, they were bitter. I had to take them out. I think that was a failed experiment in my summer growing. Anyway, and then lastly, before bed, not just before bed, but between dinner and bedtime, I had my 5th and last skinny pack, which was the cinnamon bar. This is one of them. There are some bars like the peanut pretzel bar and so on that you can just simply have a skinny pack, but then there are some that are one a day. So you can't just have, for all your skinny packs, have 5 cinnamon bars and call it good. This is a one a day thing. I don't know why. It just is. And anytime that logic kind of pops into my brain and says, well, why? It's like, I get that there's a reason that question is in my brain, and I get that maybe there's not a sufficient answer out there, but at the very least, what I'm going to do is just adhere to this by the letter and see how it goes. So why? Because they said so. So anyway, I had a cinnamon bar and very tasty, 160 calories, 18 grams of carbs with 5 grams of dietary fiber, so 13 net grams of carbs. And considering that I had a grand total of 90 net carbs, and considering that 13 of these came from this one bar, that could be why it's the one a day. As far as the question of, will this work? Yeah, I mean, it's going to work. The math checks out. The nutrition is there. All told, including the 2 tablespoons of avocado oil I tossed on my salad, I wound up with 1,428 calories yesterday, which is low. It's not dangerously low. Like somebody like me really can't go below 1,200 calories. And as I continue to lose weight, that number may go down. But really for weight loss, I try to get it in that sweet spot, usually between 1,600 and 2,000. That's usually a good slow weight loss for me. This was a little bit lower than that, but it wasn't alarmingly lower. It wasn't anything that I feel is any dangerous level, but not by a long shot. So the question isn't whether the math checks out. The math does. If I continue on with this and I continue adhering to it and I continue tracking my calories and recognizing that 1,400 calories is well below my TDEE, I'm going to lose weight. The question is, can this be sustained? And again, I'm going up against the wall here on the hunger issue. So that's really the big question. And after having gone through it for a day, the answer to that is with discipline, yes. But with discipline. This is not smooth sailing. This is not easy. There were points throughout yesterday where I was hungry as fuck. And the skinny packs did not satiate that. They helped, but they didn't make the hunger go away. So it's not an easy road. Skinnybox is not effortless. Nothing's really effortless, let's be honest. Even the Manjaro has its ups and downs. This will require discipline. You are going to feel the food noise. You are going to feel the hunger. That won't stop. Maybe it'll be different for other people. I don't know. I can only kind of talk about what I went through. And what I go through on a hunger level is very, very different than what a 5'2" woman that weighs 150 pounds and is trying to lose 10 pounds to go through bikini season. I get it. We're different people. Different bodies, different metabolisms, different histories, all sorts of different stuff. And maybe this will be sufficient to get you to lose the weight, wind up in a caloric deficit, and be completely satiated the entire day. And that'd be great. I'm coming at this from somebody that is 6'1", 44 years old, currently about 264 pounds, and trying to lose about 70 more. That's essentially where I'm coming from right now. And from that point of view, from that calorie deficit and from my TDEE, I can tell you that this is not satiating. This is helpful. And helpful is a pretty good thing. So I'm going to continue on with it, and I'm going to continue reporting in, and I'm going to let you know the good, the bad, and the weird about Skinnybox as I continue forward. I don't know how long I'm going to stick with it in terms of getting past this month's supply. Maybe I'll continue on with a month or two after this. We'll see how the results turn out. We'll see how my body acclimates. We'll see if the hunger starts quieting down after a period of time. We'll see. And maybe it'll be a situation where I simply, instead of taking a 160 calorie cinnamon bar that I paid way, way, way too much for, maybe I just go to the grocery store and find a suitable alternative and pack it myself and continue on with the scheduled plan and start substituting things out for something that is more sensible and more cost-effective, but still as nutritionally sound. That's probably what's going to happen, let's be honest. But in the meantime, this is my report on Skinnybox. This is my update on my health. Onward and upward, forward we go. This time without Manjaro. I don't know if and when it's ever coming back in my life, but for the moment, I kind of have to just count on it not being there and plan and move forward, both in my weight and in my A1C. And on both of those levels, here we go. So thank you very much. I look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you again for all of your support. I will talk to you all soon. Take care.